Alright, so I just got back from watching A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan biopic directed by James Mangold, director of Ford v Ferrari, Walk the Line, 310 to Yuma, a bunch of other stuff, including Logan, and the latest Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, which wasn't great, but hey. And this one stars Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan, so if my voice sounds a little weird, I have a small cold, so sorry about that, but I went and watched this movie anyway, and I have a couple thoughts. This movie didn't blow me away. I'm not a big Bob Dylan fan. I know his most famous songs, like a Rolling Stone, The Times They Are Changin', all that stuff, but I haven't really dug deep into his work. It kind of like Bob Marley, which was the biopic about Bob Marley, came out earlier this year. It was kind of similar for me. I was aware of his most famous songs, but nothing really about his life or any of the more obscure songs or anything like that, except by why he's famous, how influential he was, and that sort of stuff. So most of the stuff that was presented in this movie was new to me. I don't know how accurate it is. I'm assuming it's accurate, but you never know. So I'm going to be focusing less on that and more about the movie itself. And it's fine. Like I said, it didn't blow me away or anything. I do think it was a little better than the Bob Marley movie, because to me, the Bob Marley movie felt more like I was just watching things happening, and there didn't really seem to be a point to what was going on. And I had that feeling with this one a little bit, but then eventually I figured out what point the movie was trying to make, and everything just kind of came full circle a little bit. It's not attempting to give you a full story of his entire life like the Elvis movie a couple years ago. This really is a snapshot of the early days of Bob Marley's career, the early years, I should say, the first 5 or so years of his career, and how he became famous, and then some of the creative decisions he made that were controversial but also quite successful. The movie presents Bob Dylan, as the title suggests, as a complete unknown. We don't really get to know anything about him personally. The movie's really about how other people around him react to him, and what that tells us about them and about, the culture of the time. So in a sense, the movie is about Bob Marley, but he doesn't really have a character arc or anything like that. It's more about, like I mentioned, the people around him, his mentors, I guess, even though he doesn't really have any mentors, but there are mentor figures in his life, his relationships, his romantic relationships, his professional relationships, all that sort of stuff, and how they are all influenced by this man who is so unordinary, so strange, but clearly very talented. So in that sense, I found it interesting, but because we don't really get to know the person we're following most of the movie that well, I did feel as if the movie was kind of keeping me at a distance, and we weren't getting very intimate with Bob Dylan. So I don't know maybe we don't know much about Bob Dylan in real life. I don't know. I'm sure there's been plenty of books and documentaries and stuff about him, so maybe we do know a lot about him, but the way this movie presents it is he is kind of an enigma. He is unknown. We don't really know what makes him tick. He just kind of is. So I feel like if you are a Bob Dylan fan, maybe you would enjoy this more than me. Or maybe you'll think, this absolutely doesn't match his legacy at all. I don't know. I really don't know. I can only talk about what I thought of the movie, and I thought it was fine. I don't think I would ever watch it again. I'm not mad I saw it. I will say I did enjoy the music, which, it's Bob Dylan. He's famous for a reason. But not just him, but the music played by the other folk musicians in this movie was quite well done. And what I appreciated is that the director, James Mangold, kind of just let the music speak for itself. You know, he didn't have to do anything fancy to convince you that this music was good or cool. He just kind of just let it happen, and he would show other people reacting to the music in their own ways. But for the most part, you know, he just kind of let the music kind of washed over me, and I enjoyed the music, and I did enjoy how much music was in this movie. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's what I liked most about it. The performances are all pretty good. I think Timothée Chalamet has a good Bob Dylan voice. So that was authentic at least. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have very strong feelings about it, but it wasn't a bad time by any stretch of the imagination. It was just okay. So if you're interested, if this interested you, or if you're already planning on watching a Bob Dylan movie or anything like that, then Complete Unknown is currently playing in theaters. You can go ahead and check it out.